enough reminiscing. The next segment, we're going to have Mr. Dickerson kind of tell us a little bit about what he thinks is going to happen in the upcoming draft. I will let him name it, tell you what it's all about. But before we do, I simply want to say this is Ben and Barry on football. You can find us on online radio at WJRL953.com on Friday evenings from 6 to 7:30. You'll also find Ben and Barry on football on Spotify, and Anchor Podcast, and Apple Podcasts. Whew! Where else are we? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I think that's it. Anyway.
And you can find me at Simon's Recreation Center every Sunday morning.
Yeah, Ben still coaches. He's still out there with the young guys, telling somebody run a 9 route, run an 8 route. You know, you run that curl over there, and you go for the post. So yeah, he's still out there doing it on a daily basis. All right, Mr. Dickerson, your turn.
Okay.
I want to hear what's going to happen in your mock draft.
Okay, so this is the first official Dickerson Brothers mock draft 1.0. And I say Dickerson Brothers because I got a lot of input from my brother, who I want to shout out right now. It's my brother, Donald Dickerson. Okay. This guy watches college football like crazy. He is a football savant. And hopefully we can get him on a show soon. But I got a lot of input from him. I agree with him in a lot of things. He gave me some information that I didn't have. I gave him some information he didn't have. And I disagreed with him sometimes. But this is what I came up with after discussing this with him. And I'm going to try to go through the entire first round as quickly as I can. Early on, I'm giving some caveats here. Early on, I may give some heights and weights, but it'll be mostly for quarterbacks because I want people to understand that because this is a pretty rich, I don't want to use the word rich when it comes to the quarterback class, because it's not rich meaning there's a lot of them, but the few that there are really, really good quarterbacks. So this could be a really good quarterback draft. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, and there's a lot of quarterbacks that are going to go early. So I want to show the comparison there. Also, because this is such a talent-rich draft as far as wide receivers are concerned, people are going crazy. And I've seen fans from teams across the league that are screaming, we got to get this guy. We got to get that guy. People are debating who the best receivers are. So keep that in mind. And remember that because it's such a talent-rich draft as far as wide receivers are concerned, that your team may, in fact, pick another position of need, knowing that they can get a good receiver somewhere else down the line. So those are a couple of things that you want to keep in mind, okay? Stuff that everybody knows about, I'm going to probably go over really fast. I got some notes here to make sure I stay straight, so bear with me. Here we go, okay? So the number one pick in the draft is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Obviously, everybody knows they're going Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. He's 6'6", 220, got the size, the arm. This guy checks all the boxes, okay? He's a champion. He's won national championships. He's competed in national championships, makes all the throws, great player. And because the Jacksonville Jaguars have hired a new coach, and that new coach is Urban Meyer, who was a stellar college coach, this looks like a really great marriage. No surprises there, okay? Now, here we go. New York Jets. I said in a previous show that I thought, and you know, things happen really fast in the NFL, okay? So by the time you see this show, something else might have happened. But at the time, I said that I thought that the Jets we're going to try to give Darnold another chance and try to build around him because they know that he has the skills to be a good NFL quarterback, but he's played under 3 different head coaches. He's had all kind of coordinators, and it's been a mess, and the team's been a mess, and he just really hasn't had a chance to excel with the type of weapons that he's needed. Well, I changed that idea. I believe that the New York Jets are going to try to reset at quarterback, and I believe that they're going to pick Zach Wilson. I'm going to tell you why. Zach Wilson is 6'3". He's 209, so he's got the size, okay? He also is a pretty good runner. He's got good speed. He can move. But what people like about him most, and if you watch this pro day, you will know that he makes what they call the off-platform throws. And when they talk about off-platform throws, you may hear me say that a couple of times. This is what they mean. They mean he can throw at different arm angles. He can throw on the run. He can roll left, square his shoulders, and throw deep to the right. Those are off-platform throws. If he's under pressure, he can dance in the pocket and deliver that sidearm throw when you need it, or that 3/4 arm throw. Okay, those are our off-platform throws. That's what they talk about. Zach Wilson excels at that. Okay, so, and on top of the fact that he has elite arm talent. If I just say arm talent, that means he can make every throw. He has a strong arm, and he is accurate. You may hear me say this guy has good accuracy. This guy has a strong arm. If I say elite arm talent, that means he's got it all. Okay? That's Zach Wilson. I believe the New York Jets are going to take Zach Wilson. Now, here we go, bro. At the number 3 pick that they got from a big-time trade, the San Francisco 49ers are obviously going to take a quarterback. The question is, which quarterback will they take if Lawrence and Zach Wilson are off the board? Some people say Justin Fields. Some people say Trey Lance. Some people like Mac Jones from Alabama after seeing his pro day. Lately, at least since Shanahan's been there, and even before that, well, we'll say post-Kaepernick, okay, the 49ers have had the classic pocket passer. That would be Mac Jones. But I don't think Shanahan's going to go that way. I think Shanahan wants a more mobile quarterback because that seems to be the trend in the NFL. No, Bear, don't worry. He's not going to take Justin Fields. He's going to take Trey Lance from North Dakota State, same school that Carson Wentz went to. This guy's got a big-time arm, big-time arm. His deep ball is nice. He's got good accuracy, but he's got really nice accuracy on his deep ball. That's a big deal. He throws the ball well on the run also, and he's got good size. He's 6'4", 227, and he will run a DB over, okay? So if he gets loose in the secondary, DBs beware. He will truck you like a running back. I think Shanahan will like that. I think he's going to take Trey Lance. If he asked me, I'd say, yes, Mr. Shanahan, take Trey Lance, okay? Now, a lot of people think he should take Justin Fields, and I understand why they're saying that because he had a really good pro day. He made those off-platform throws like Zach Wilson does, okay? The problem with Justin Fields, and it's not something that can't be fixed, I don't think, is that sometimes – I don't know about his problems with pre-snap, but his post-snap judgment has been called into question. He holds the ball kind of long sometimes, but he's supposedly a good leader, and locker room guys like him. He's a good locker room guy, so he's got a lot of other good things going for him. Also, his 40 time was off the charts. I think he ran like a 4.4. So don't worry, you'll hear his name come up again really soon.
And you know what Trey Lance ran?
Do I know what Trey Lance ran? Actually, I don't have it right here in front of me. What did Trey Lance run? He ain't slow.
Huh?
He ain't slow.
He's not slow. No. I will find that out in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, the number 4 pick, and I said this is the Dickerson Brothers mock draft 1.0 because there may be a 2.0. There is some speculation that some teams will be moving up via trade So, but I'm going to go with it as it is right now. So the number 4 pick belongs to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons just restructured Matt Ryan's deal. So Matt Ryan's not going anywhere. But the Falcons also know that they have to get a quarterback in the future. Now is not the time to try to build around Matt Ryan. He's at the back end of his career. So guess where Justin Fields ends up? Justin Fields is probably going to go to the Atlanta Falcons. Okay. The number 5 pick.
Before you go there, hold on one second.
Sure.
Let me just say I did watch the Justin Fields Pro Day, and I liked his aura. I liked his command, his confidence. You get a chance to kind of see him just,
Yeah, his leadership skills have been touted, yes.
Yeah, I like that. He was a little more mature type of guy. He was taller than I thought, okay? What he ran a 4.4. You asked about Trey Lance. They're saying he looked like he clocked pretty much a 4.5 consistently.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 228, Fields.
You running 6'3", 4.5, I ain't mad at you. And I'm happy to see that, they're willing to bring somebody on, and develop them. And like I said earlier, I don't think you could go real wrong with any of those 3 guys. I like Mac's sense of humor. I was surprised.
Sense of humors don't win games, bro.
Sense of humors don't win games, but they can bring locker rooms together. They can do things and build relationships. I'd rather have a guy with a sense of humor. You know what I mean? I remember what they said about Montana. I think it was in the Bengals Super Bowl when that
he'd already been the starting quarterback for 6 years before that. Stop.
But I'm just saying, just what he said relaxed in that moment.
Okay.
He had that type of type of command with his people. So I think that's important. It's an intangible, but it's important. But bottom line is, I don't think you could go really wrong with any of those last 3 guys.
Okay, who are you going to take? Don't say nothing else. Say a name.
I like Trey Lance too.
Okay, there you go, my man. All right. So now the number 5 pick in the draft belongs to the Cincinnati Bengals. There's a lot of special players still left, right? A ton. We're just getting started. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go after one of them. A lot of people think they need a receiver. They let AJ Green go. They need targets for Mr. Burrow. I think they take one of the most intriguing guys out there. That's Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida.
Tight end.
This guy, first of all, Cincinnati hasn't had a dynamic tight end in a long, long time. This guy is special. He's so special that he actually could come in and play wide out full time, if you ask me. Okay. But you put him at the tight end position and give him the freedom to flex him out like they do Gronk and some of these other guys. Sometimes the guys like Waller, guys like Kittle, he's going to be right up there with them. I guarantee you this guy is going to be right up there with him. So that'll be a big pick and a big special player for the Cincinnati Bengals. At number 6, the Miami Dolphins, they get a chance to get a target for Tua. Now, a lot of people think Tua's going to want Devontae Smith, Alabama guy he threw the ball to. There's a receiver out there that, in my opinion, is head and shoulders above all these dudes, and all these dudes are special. But there's one guy who's really, really the best guy. That's Jamar Chase. I've been talking about Jamar Chase. His last year he played at LSU, and I had to remind people about him this previous season because he opted out because of COVID, okay? Jamar Chase is super special. He's the best wide receiver on the board. I think the Miami Dolphins will take Jamar Chase. Now,
hold it.
Yes.
We talked about the guys who ran 4.2s earlier in the show. You didn't tell them what Jamar Chase ran.
What did he run?
4.38.
That's right.
And how big did you say he was?
Jamar Chase, I think I didn't say how big he was. I told you I didn't want to grind this down with a lot of
Okay, but he's special. He's special, and that's the only reason that I mentioned that.
His route running ability, his hands, his body positioning, ball skills, that's what makes him special. It's not just about speed, okay? And we know there's guys that run 4.4s and 4.5s in the Hall of Fame. That's no big deal, okay? What makes him special is his ball skills and his route running ability in his hands. That's what really makes him special. But if he can run a 4.3 on top of that, that makes him even more dangerous, okay? So you can take those 4.2 guys. You won't hear me mention their name, maybe not at all in the first round. And if I do, it'll be lower down because Jamar Chase is heads and shoulders above them.
All right.
Total skill-wise, okay? Now, this team's a bit of an enigma. They could go anywhere. It's the Detroit Lions. They have a lot of needs. But I believe that the Detroit Lions are going to look to protect their new quarterback, Jared Goff, and they're going to go with the best offensive tackle on the board, in my opinion, and that's Penny Sewell from Oregon. Big, athletic, road grader, and good pass blocker, and that's the kind of combination that you want when you're looking at an offensive tackle. He may slide in at left tackle right off the bat. Okay, so the Detroit Lions can't hurt themselves by taking Penny Sewell. Number 8 is the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers need a quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater did not work out. I don't see Teddy Bridgewater getting any better. They didn't do anything in free agency quarterback-wise, so they're going to pick one. So Lawrence is gone. Wilson's gone. Trey Lance is gone. Justin Fields is gone. Guess where they go? Yep, Mac Jones. Mac Jones goes to the Carolina Panthers. Okay? Wow. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Now, let's say this. My team, my beloved New York Giants, pick number 12. 10 and 11. 10 is the Denver Broncos. 11 is the Dallas Cowboys. When I saw this draft order and I started doing this mock, I said to myself, it would be wonderful if my Giants could get one of those special players. And because both of these teams need defense so badly, I believe one of those special players will be there for me. I believe that at number 9, the Denver Broncos will take either Micah Parsons from Penn State, the linebacker, who I love, or they will take the cornerback, Patrick Surtain from Alabama. Now, it's funny. Me and my brother went at it on this one, okay? He thinks there's better corners out there than Surtain. So hopefully we can get him on the show next week and he can talk to you about some of these other corners. But the Broncos may take Surtain. If they take Surtain, I believe the Cowboys, who really, really need linebackers badly, will then take Micah Parsons. Either way, both of those guys are going to be gone. And then at number 11, my beloved New York Giants will take Devontae Smith. Bang! Yeah. I love it. Now, one caveat. If they don't take Devontae Smith, which I think they will take Waddle, the other Alabama wide receiver. So we can't go wrong. We need weapons for our quarterback. Yes, we need offensive line help. Yes, we do. Okay, but we got to have weapons. Golden Tate is out of here. Sterling Shepard is just showing what he can do if he can stay healthy. You know, Slayton, I love Slayton, but he's not a number 1, okay? You got to bring in one of these guys, either Waddle or Devontae Smith. I kind of think they're going to lean towards Smith. So that's Smith going at number 11. Now, the other the part of the blockbuster trade with the 49ers was the Philadelphia Eagles. Me and my brother went crazy on this one. He's a big-time Eagles fan. He went nuts on this one. I'm going to go chalk and stick with what most people are saying. He thinks I'm crazy, and he has a lot of reasons why. But just to keep this thing moving, I believe that the Eagles are going to go defense and they're going to go for a corner. Not only do they have hell of a lot of problems with corners over the last 3-4 years, but they also just let Jalen Mills go. People can call him toast and say he was a bum and all that, but I bet you he goes to the 49ers, to the Patriots, and he starts just like Patrick Chung did and a couple other guys did. So you know how that goes. But anyway, I think they're going to go corner, and there's a corner out there from South Carolina named J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn's from South Carolina. That means he plays in the SEC. So guess who he's seen? He's seen Smith. He's seen Waddle. He's seen Chase. He's seen Justin Jefferson. He's played against all those guys. This kid's got talent. I think the Eagles will take J.C. Horn. Moving on. Number 13, the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay. They got Justin Herbert. You got to protect Justin Herbert. They go offensive tackle, and there's a big-time guy out there from Northwestern named Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater played right tackle for Northwestern, but I think he can slide in as a left tackle also. Big kid. I don't have sizes and weights and stuff because I wanted to keep this going, but I don't think there will be any problem with this guy playing tackle. And in fact, I think due to injuries or whatever, he has played guard also. Okay. But he's a good ball player, a good blocker, a very good pass blocker, which is exactly what the Chargers need. Okay. Moving on. Number 14, Minnesota Vikings. They need help on defense. They take the guy that I think is the number one edge rusher. That's Kwity Paye from Michigan. Kwity Paye's name has been kicked around quite a bit if you watch these guys on TV talking. So everybody should know about him. Great pass rusher, great edge rusher, probably one of the best. If he's not the best, he's top 3 edge rushers out there right now. Moving on. The Atlanta Falcons. We're at number 15, New England Patriots. Now, the New England Patriots, this is going to be tough. The New England Patriots need a quarterback. They can't live many more years past Cam. They got to bring somebody in. I'm kind of messed up on this pick, and I believe that the Patriots are going to pull off a trade within the next few days or going into this weekend or next week to try to move up in the draft and get one of those coveted quarterbacks. I've already said that most of these guys are going to be taken. Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, Fields, Jones. I don't know who's going to be left there for them at number 15. If they stand pat, which I don't think they will probably go receiver. And that means that a guy like Waddle will probably fall to them. Okay? But I don't believe they're going to do that. I believe they're going to trade up and try to get a quarterback, but that remains to be seen. So I got to kind of leave that slide open. Number 16, your rivals, the Arizona Cardinals. Guess what? They got to get after the quarterbacks in your division. So they're going to go edge rusher. Jalen Phillips from Miami. Now, Miami has 2 really good edge rushers. One's named Rousseau. The other one is this guy, Jalen Phillips. I believe they're going to take Jalen Phillips. I'll tell you a little bit later why. Well, I'll tell you right now why. I think him and Rousseau, skill-wise, are pretty even. They both ran really good 40s from what I can remember. I don't remember the exact times, but I know they ran really good 40s. The deal is that Rousseau's had a good number of concussions, according to my brother, who's watched Miami football extensively, and that's probably why they're going to go with the other guy. That's what I believe they will do. The Raiders, they need O-line help. They got to keep their running game going because they got a good running back, and they have to protect their quarterback because they didn't make any moves to get a quarterback. And by the time their pick comes at number 17, all the good quarterbacks are going to be gone. Not saying they won't take one, but anybody that's left, they could probably get in a later round. Okay, so here we are at pick number 17. That's the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, a team that didn't do too much in free agency as far as the quarterback situation is concerned, even though there were some questions about Derek Carr. So obviously, if Carr is going to be around, they got to protect him. And let me just say this real fast also. When I'm talking about linemen, especially offensive linemen, I'm going to give you a name that I like that fits this particular team, but the team may not agree, but they still may pick at that same position, but they just might pick a different guy. But this is my mock, so I'm going to give you the name that I like. And for the Raiders, I like Christian Darrisaw. He's an offensive tackle from Virginia Tech. He's a big guy, 6'5", 315. He's played left tackle pretty much his whole career in college. So I see him slotting in right there. Okay. At number 18, the Miami Dolphins get to pick again. And they're going to take an edge rusher named Jason Owe, who you may have heard of from Penn State. I believe he's one of those guys that had a really awesome 40 time at his pro day. Can't remember exactly what it was, but it was far faster than most edge rushers. He was right up there with Micah Parsons with his 40 time, so he made quite a splash at his pro day. At number 19, we have the Washington football team. Obviously, they need offensive line help. Their defense was pretty strong last year. In fact, stronger than most people believe they would be. So they go O-tackle too. For them, I like a guy named Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State. And you'll notice most of these linemen are from big schools and big conferences, okay? This guy's a road grader in the running game, and he's a good pass blocker also. So he should fit in very well with the Washington football team. The Chicago Bears pick at number 20. And just like I said about the Patriots, the Bears are a team they may be looking to move up in the draft. They've got some draft capital to spend, so they might be moving up in the coming days. But for now, they sit at number 20. I see them taking an edge rusher, Aziz Ojulari. I believe that is how you pronounce his name. He is from Georgia. Georgia had a real good defense. Georgia plays in the SEC, okay? You cannot go wrong with these guys in the trenches when they come from these big-time programs and big-time conferences. So that'd be a good pickup for them. Now, we get to some teams that don't necessarily need line help. So this is where that really rich wide receiver class comes in. At number 21, we have the Indianapolis Colts. They go wide receiver. And they go wide receiver because, let's face it, T.Y. Hilton did not have a great year last year. They got a kid named Pittman who's pretty good, but we don't really know how good he can be, and we don't know if he will really qualify as a number one receiver. So they go wide receiver Rashad Bateman from Minnesota, okay? Now, from what I've been told, he doesn't have really great or freak athlete top end speed, but he's a pure separator, meaning he gets in and out of his breaks quickly. He's probably quicker than he is fast. He gets in and out of his breaks quickly and knows how to accelerate out of his breaks. And he's a very efficient route runner. So that'd be a nice pickup for the Indianapolis Colts. At 22, the Tennessee Titans. They lost Corey Davis in free agency, but they do still have A.J. Brown. And the closest thing to A.J. Brown is DK Metcalf, and they both went to Ole Miss. So where did the Tennessee Titans go for a new wide receiver? Elijah Moore from Ole Miss. Here we go again. From what my brother tells me, this kid is a freak athlete, just like those two. You put the three of them together with their shirts off, and you go crazy wishing you had a body like them, okay? That's the kid that they're going to go after because, let's face it, got to have weapons for Ryan Tannehill to complement their run game, okay? Number 23, the New York – I'm sorry. I got some speculation stuff written down here. It's possible that the Seahawks make a move in the draft, but right now – wait, hold on a second. Let me just double check something. Yes, right. The New York Jets got this pick from the Seattle Seahawks, number 23. This might have been part of the trade with the Jets for the safety. But anyway, obviously, the Jets need defensive help. They need a lot of help, but they need defensive help. They're going to go after cornerback Greg Newsome from Northwestern. Now, here's the funny thing. This guy plays real well in his own defense. Some guys they call shutdown corners. Some guys are good man-to-man corners. Some corners play exceptionally well in a zone. This is one of those guys. Greg Newsome is a guy that my brother likes better than the guy that I speculated the Eagles to take. I kind of went chalk there because I wasn't really sure and I didn't want to stick my neck out with J.C. Horn. So I said J.C. Horn from South Carolina because he's an SEC guy. But my brother likes Greg Newsome better, okay? He says he's got really good ball skills, he's got good speed, and he can cover really well in space, which makes him a really good zone defender. And Robert Saleh likes to run a lot of zone on his defenses. So that's a good fit there. The Pittsburgh Steelers pick at number 24. They need some help on defense. They're going to go with edge rusher Gregory Rousseau. Now, I talked about Rousseau when I talked about the other Miami end. And I told you Rousseau had some concussion issues, okay? But the guy's 6'6", 260. That means he's tall, he's lean, and he's fast, okay? So a high-end athlete like that on the other side of their line, on the other side from T.J. Ward, that would be a big deal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like him going there. We're getting there. We're at number 25. Jacksonville Jaguars get the pick again. They got to get some defensive help. They go with a safety, Trayvon Moehrig from TCU. Now, you don't hear a lot about TCU, but if you really go and look at some NFL rosters, you'll find some key players from TCU, especially on defense and especially secondary type guys. This guy is going to be one of those guys. Played a long time in college. When I say played a long time, I mean he's not a guy that's leaving early, like after a redshirt freshman or sophomore year. Okay, so he's been around a little bit. He's got a lot of experience, and TCU plays in a pretty good conference. So safety help will be coming for the Jacksonville Jaguars by way of Trayvon Moehrig. The Cleveland Browns. You would think that the Cleveland Browns are feeling pretty good about their defense. Obviously, they feel really great about their offense. So if they have to weigh things and they get a chance to shore up their defense, they're going to go with a defensive lineman by the name of Christian Barmore from Alabama. Now, number one, it's Alabama. Number two, it's the SEC. Number three, my brother loves this guy. He loves this guy. He can play tackle. He can play end. Got all the skills. High-end athlete. Good speed. Can bend when he's coming around the corner. You know how, your edge rushers, they have to have that bend where they can turn their body and contort their body to get around an offensive tackle without losing any speed. Barmore has all of that. He'd be a big-time pickup for the Cleveland Browns. Where are we at here? Number 27, Baltimore Ravens. Oh, man. I could do a show on the Baltimore Ravens and the whole thing about receivers not wanting to go there in free agency because of Lamar. That's the wrap. But right now, they need to get themselves some receiver help. And now you're going to hear a name that you might not really know a whole lot about. It's that other LSU receiver that got a chance to show what he could do because Jamar opted out. And his name is Terrence Marshall Jr. Terrence Marshall Jr. He's a big kid. He can play in the slot and on the outside. He should help the Ravens immediately because, let's face it, they had to let, what's his name, go. They had to let Dez go. Miles Boykin has never developed into anything. They need help in the worst way. They feel like Terrence Marshall or I feel like Terrence Marshall will be able to help them. Number 28, New Orleans Saints. They could use a little help on D. Here's another guy my brother loves, Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. Okay, he's a corner. Okay, Saints can always use corners. And I got another little tidbit from my brother today that I won't get too deep into, and I don't know if you heard it or not, but evidently their number one cornerback, Mr. Lattimore, got busted with a stolen gun, supposedly. So I don't know how that's going to turn out, okay? But they go cornerback, Caleb Farley, who he likes better than even the other two cornerbacks that I mentioned, but I feel like he'd be a good, really good fit for them.
So Ben, you're down to what? What number are you at? 28?
Yes.
All right. So we got 3 more to go. Before we do, I just want to take a minute to remind people that this is Ben and Barry on football. And this is the now, how are you naming your podcast or your draft there again?
This is the Dickerson Brothers NFL Mock Draft 1.0.
Now you see why I didn't try to say that, because I wouldn't have got all of that right. But absolutely. Okay, so you're getting the rundown. We got 3 more positions to go. Ben and Barry on football, WJRL 95.3.com on the radio, Fridays from 6 to 7:30, and on most all social media under Ben and Barry on football. And you can always go to www.benandbarryonfootball.com. Okay, I'm sure I flubbed that 2 or 3 times, but let's go with the final 3.
That's okay. One more thing about the Saints, and I mentioned Caleb Farley. There's a lot of speculation out there that Caleb Farley is, in fact, the best of the cornerbacks, even better than Surtain. But again, these kind of things depend on the team and how the team feels, their scouting department, what they tell their GM, and how they feel a guy's going to fit. So you may hear some of these same names that I've mentioned, but you would hear them going to different teams. Instead of this cornerback, they may take that cornerback, okay? But I'm going by the need, and I think the need will prevail. But the person that they actually pick could, in fact, be different because a lot of these guys are graded very, very closely, okay? Number 29, Green Bay Packers. Hey, they're looking for a linebacker. Let me make sure I say this name correctly. Jeremiah Owusu-Karamu from Notre Dame. My brother absolutely is nuts over this guy. This guy is an elite athlete. Explosive is the word that they use for him, okay? Will probably be, in most scouts' eyes, the best coverage linebacker in this draft. I believe, if I remember correctly, this guy even played slot corner a little bit in college at Notre Dame out of need. That's how good a cover guy this kid is, okay? If the Packers get him, that will be big for them because they really need linebacker help. I'm sure Chris, your son Chris, who's a Packers fan, can tell you that, okay? If they're able to get this guy, this will be a big deal for them. The Buffalo Bills, yeah, we got to take care of, I'm saying we. Buffalo Bills are my AFC team, which I hate for people to say, like, your team is your team, okay? But I love the AFC team, Buffalo Bills. I just enjoy watching them, okay? And I think that they need a lot of help on defensive line. But speculation is, this isn't necessarily my hard pick here, but speculation is that they're going to go after a highly touted offensive tackle whose name is Dylan Redunz. This is a guy that blocked for Trey Lance, okay? And he's been rising up draft boards. He's played left tackle and he's played right tackle. But I think the Bills are looking at their line, and I think they've got some guys that have got a little bit of tread on their tires, and they're getting up in age a little bit, and they feel like they need to bring somebody else in. Now, Their tackles, Darrell Williams and Dawkins, I think, is their other tackle. These guys ain't dead yet. They can still play. So you can bring in a kid like this who's got a lot of skill and kind of bring him along, and he's there and ready to plug in if you need him to, okay? But keeping Josh Allen clean is very important, so I understand that. That's why I'm going with this pick. Same deal with the Kansas City Chiefs at number 31. They let go their 2 starters. Yes, their 2 starters got hurt last year. Yes, people are blaming the fact that those guys weren't around as being a big factor why the Kansas City Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl this year. But they let both of them go. Schwartz and Fisher are now out of Kansas City. So, let's face it, they went to the Super Bowl. They didn't trade up. They're picking at 31. They're going to go offensive tackle. There's a really big dude from Texas named Sam Cosmi. It's either Cosmi or Cosmi. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so I don't know which one is right. I try to get my pronunciations right, but I've heard it both ways. This kid, dude, this guy's 6'7", 309.
What?
Yeah, 6'7", 309. So he can move. All right. He can move. He's got long arms, which you need in an offensive tackle. Long arms is very important. If you're a big dude and you don't have long arms, they make you a guard. Okay. This guy's 6'7", 309. He's a big guy. I think that's who Kansas City goes after. And Tampa Bay does the same thing with Walker Little from Stanford. Walker Little reminds them, and this is what I've learned from just kind of peeking in on some Tampa Bay Buccaneers sites. Last year, they took Tristan Wirfs early. Tristan Wirfs was a money pick right off the bat. You love when your team picks somebody in the first round and a guy right off the bat comes in and starts and plays great. That was Tristan Wirfs. This guy, Walker Little, reminds them of Tristan Wirfs. I think they go after him at number 32, and that concludes the first round of my mock draft.
Oh, man. Benny, Jimmy, Christmas. You stayed up half the night to get that done there, buddy?
Half of a couple of nights.
That's a couple of nights. Wow, that was pretty comprehensive. That I'm going to have to go back and rewatch myself, because, so many of those names I kind of knew. You know what I mean? I'm watching.
You've heard them.
Huh?
Yeah, if you watch NFL Live, if you watch NFL Network, you've probably heard their name, boop, boop, boop. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You might not have heard a whole bunch about them. And that's why I have to keep reminding people, if I said this team's going to pick this guy and they pick that guy and it's the same position, then that means I was halfway right, because I recognized the need and I kind of felt where their hearts might be leading them. But I can only speculate as to which player at any particular position the team might feel more than
you use the word speculation, and that's the fun of all of this, because nobody really knows what's going to happen. The fun is the surprise.
Yes.
It's even like when we do our matchups during the season and with the Bias Plus report, and we have the bias favoring some one team by a massive amount. The next thing we know, that team goes down. Such as the game we talked about last week when the Jets came in and beat the Rams. It's like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. So that's a surprise, and that's part of the fun of it. Okay, Mr. Mock Draft. All right, so next week, you bring the savant in, and we're going to add him to the conversation, and we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive. Okay,